Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial. This time we're going to be adding some basic animations to our model. Now a disclaimer, this is only for 2.0 avatars. I'll make a different video about 3.0 avatars once I figured out the process to a step-by-step process. So yeah. If you watch the rest of my tutorials, you should be already set up with your model and your avatar descriptor and everything. Now we just need to add the animations. So to do that, first of all, go into your avatar folder or wherever your model is located and make a new folder. We're just going to call that animations, and that's where we're going to be working on. Go into your animations folder and search for custom override. It should pop up if you have the VRChat SDK installed. Custom override empty should be the file. We're gonna duplicate that with Control D and drag the copy you made into your avatar folder. And there it is. Now let's just rename that to something like tutorial in this case. You can drop that into your animations folder. This is where you're going to be putting all your animation files, but we can ignore that for now. Now, an important step, and this is vital, do not animate on the model you want to upload. Don't do that. It will mess up everything. What we want to do is click on your model up here on the left and duplicate that with Control D. It should say something like the name of your avatar and 1. Now we need to get to hide the first one, so click on your original avatar and go to inspector, and there's a little check mark over here. Click on that and it should hide your avatar. Now ignore that for now. We don't need that. Focus on the copy you made. And for this, we are gonna right click in our animations folder, create animation controller. Name that to whatever you want. I'm gonna call it test. And then we get to create the actual animation. So right click, create animation. And there you go. First of all, I'm gonna make some expressions. Just a basic happy, sad expression. And then we're gonna do like a custom idle animation for desktop users and maybe a sitting one. I'll also show you how to import animations from sites like VRC mods. They have some nice dance animations and stuff. So now that we have our first animation created, we're gonna make this an happy expression. So I'm just gonna rename this to happy. Now what you want to do is click on the animation controller that we just created. Up here, go to animator, and this should pop up. What we want to do is click and drag our happy animations right here. If you see it pop up and the arrow going from entry to your animation, then you did it correctly. Now what we want to do is go back to scene, click on your model, the copy, and drag and drop the test animation controller on the right into your animator. There's a spot that says controller. Just drag and drop it there. It should say test or whatever you named your animation controller. Now we are ready to animate with your avatar selected, the copy, we're going to go down here to animation. And with that, we are going to click on the little record button here. Now your avatar should sink into the floor. That's completely normal. Don't worry. For expressions, that is completely fine. For idle animations, we're going to fix that later. Now with your little record things selected, it's recording any changes you make to the avatar. So to do faces, expressions, we are going to click on Add Property, Body, Skinned Mesh Renderer. And over here you have all your blend shapes. These will adjust the expressions. So for a happy face, I'm going to click on Blink Happy. Yours might be named differently. If you use an MMD avatar, they're probably going to be similar. But if not, then you'll probably just have to mess around with these if they're not named correctly. So for this, I'm going to click Blink Happy and click on the little plus sign. It should appear over here. Now that you have that inserted, we're gonna these are your keyframes over here. This is your first one and this is your last one over here. Now what you can do is click on the last keyframe, the topmost one, so all the things are selected. They're blue, and hit delete. Our expressions only need to be 1 frame long. We don't need a whole minute or a whole second or whatever this is. I'm not actually sure. I think it might be a minute or a second. Anyway, now click on your first keyframe, the topmost one, and we can start adjusting these. Now on your little window here, there's a 0. We can turn that all the way up to 100 and it should change. Or you can move your mouse to the middle of the text and the number and slide if you want to do it like that. But 100 usually means like the furthest it can go. It can go further, but as you can see, that's we don't want that. So 100 for the eyes, and then we're gonna add the mouth. So add property, body, skin mesh renderer. And for this model, I just happen to know that the mouth I want to use is called Wa. So we're gonna add that in, put that to around 100. That already looks nice and happy. I think I'm gonna add the eyebrows as well. Hold on, cheerful. There we go. Let's put that to 100. And we want to make them a little lower, so we're gonna find lower. Like I said, you pretty much just have to mess around with these to find the expression you're looking for. Now that already looks nice. Now what we want to do is when you're done adjusting your expressions, you click on the topmost keyframe again. So all the keyframes turn blue. You hit Control C to copy it. You move ahead 1 frame. So it says 1 over here. And you hit Control V to paste. There we go. Now our animation is 1 frame long. That's what we want for the expressions. You can click on your record button again. We're done with that. Click on Project. And you're done with the happy animation. Now what we want to do is make another one for the sad. Create animation. Name that sad. Click on your animation controller again, go to animator, delete the happy one and drag in your sad one. Go back to scene, animation, And we can start adjusting these again. Click on your record button, add property, body, skin, mesh renderer. I think I'm gonna add this one. Make 100 out of that. Ooh, I forgot to delete the keyframes at the end. That's fine. We can do it now. Add property, body, skin mesh renderer, and for the eyes, we're gonna use Hachu eyes. I just like the way these look. And we're gonna add in the eyebrows. So body, skin mesh renderer. What was that one called again? Sadness. Let's add that in. Put that to about 100 again. Oh, that looks nice. Actually, I like the way that looks. We don't even have to move those around. And once we're done, click on the top keyframe to select everything. Control Z, go to frame 1, Control V, and click on your record button. Oh, there you go. Now you have a sad face. That's all the expressions I'm going to add on this one. So we can, if you click on preview on the animation tab, it should preview whatever you have in your animation controller. So I'm just going to click on that to go back to our default position. Next, what we could do is make a idle animation for desktop users. For VR users, this isn't really necessary, and I wouldn't recommend it because it might look weird. For animations like this, where you want to move any body parts, not just the face, but the body parts, you should get a plugin called Muscle Animator. And to get the Muscle Animator, you can find it in the asset store. Just open up your asset store and search for Muscle Animation Editor. There it is. Made by Pavo Studios. It's about $16. So you might need to splurge for that. You don't need this for the expressions, but for idle animations, sitting animations, you might want to get that. It's just the easiest way. Buy that, import it. Once you've bought it, just click on import. And after you've imported it, you can find it under Window, Muscle Animation Editor. Click on that, a window pops up. I like to keep this next to the inspector. There we go. We can go back to Scene, Project, Create New Animation. I'm just gonna call this Custom Idle or something. Click on your controller again, delete sad, draw in your custom animation, go back to Scene, Animation, and we can start editing this. Now you can click on your record again, your character sinks into the floor. Now this is where we need to adjust things a little bit. But first, I think I'm just gonna do like a sassy hand on the hips kind of pose for this. Now, once you have your muscle editor installed, you can see all these little yellow balls appear. These are your joints and stuff that you can edit. So what we want to do is, I think I'm gonna use the left hand. The left hand on the hips. Now you can click on these balls and this thing should pop up. We don't have to worry about these just yet. You can use these sliders to adjust the body parts. Now again, you need to be in record mode for this to work. Let's pull that back a bit, but then a little bit like that. Click on the elbow. Just play around with these until you get it roughly where you want it. You can click on the wrist, put this up a little bit. This is extremely useful if you want to add stuff like guns, swords, knives, whatever that you want your hand to be grasping, because you need to move the fingers individually. There we go. Maybe turn that back a little bit. That looks fine. Now we're just gonna straighten up this one. There we go. That's just kind of hanging on the side. That's just gonna be hanging on the side. Like so. Can we turn this a little bit? There, I don't want it to clip too much, but that looks fine. Maybe we can even tilt the head a little bit. We can click on the head tilt. Let's tilt it a little bit to the left. There we go. Now we need to fix the legs and the height or the positioning of the avatar. So now we want to go over to here on our muscle editor. We're going to find the legs. I'm just going to click on left leg. Mixer mirror is checked. Oh, sorry, I'm in the way. Let me just, there we go. Over here, you want to click on either of your legs, left leg, right leg, doesn't really matter. Make sure mirror is selected. And now we're going to click on add all. That should add all the bones of the feet and legs into your animator. Now if you make any adjustments here, it should mirror it to both the legs. So what we want to do is straighten the legs. Just play around with these. I don't even remember. There you go. You want to straighten that up. You want to bend your knees. Foot, lower leg. There we go. Turn that all the way to 1. That already looks a lot better. Great. Now what we want to do is move our model on top of the grid that you can see here. That represents the floor. As we can see, our model is going through the floor. To do this, we're going to go over here to the root of your avatar. We're going to check the T. And for this, I think it was Y. We're just going to pull the model up with the Y value. That's actually pretty good. She might be floating a little bit. Just a little bit. Turn that down. Just a little bit. Now we're going. Let's put that to 1. 1's a little too much. 0.99. 7. I think, yeah, that's fine. There we go. Now, I'm just going to leave this as my idle pose. So we're done here. You can click on your record button, and we want to copy all the keyframes again. So click on the top one. Make sure everything is blue. Copy with Control Z. Move to the first frame and paste all the keyframes. And there we go. You can make these as elaborate as you want. I've seen some idle animations that are like over a minute long. That's fine too. I like to keep things simple. So that's what I'm going to do. Now that we're done here, We can get out of preview mode. We're done with our idle animations. Let's make a sitting animation next. Make a new animation. Call that sit. Make sure to put it in your controller. Sitting animation. There we go. Go back to animator. Click on record again. We're back here. What do we want here? I think we're going to do a little legs crossed type of deal. So legs again. Let me just hide myself so you can see. Add all to the legs. Mirror is selected. Play around with these. That's not what we want. That's fine. Kind of like that. There we go. Move that. Actually, I think we want to move our hips a little bit. We want to move our hips. Or wait, is that the... Oh yeah, that's the root. Well, maybe a little bit. Something like that. And the legs. Something like that. Maybe the knees. We're going to pull them apart and then we're going to cross the legs. Kind of like that. That actually looks quite nice. Quite nice. Maybe we can put the hands or the arms between the legs. So she's sitting all nice. Click on the arms because we want to move both arms. Add all. Make sure mirror's on. Shoulders, we can have those around there. Something like that. That looks fine. Something like that. Bend them straight. Just play around with these sliders pretty much. That's pretty good. Can we change the wrists on this one? Hands in, hands down. That looks fine, I guess. Yeah. Let's just go with that. But now again, we need to lift our avatar a little bit. So transform T and use the Y slider again to make sure your avatar is above ground a little bit. There we go. The feet are going. The feet are clipping a little bit, so let's fix that again. Left leg. Lift those up a little bit. That should probably do. The tail's going under, but that's fine. Since it doesn't have any bones, or I'm not gonna animate it, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I don't think I added any bones to that. There we go. Our sit pose is done. We can click on the record, copy these, paste it, and there we go. Now let's add some emotes, some animations someone else made. We can just import those. Now I already have a folder here with some animations, so I'm just gonna drop those over here. We have a dab, facepalm, flippin' sexy, and twerk. You can just drag and drop these into your animation folder. And there we go. For these, you probably don't need to do anything as long as your model is set as a humanoid. Everything technically should work, but you can test those out by Clicking on your test, removing the setting one. Let's put the dab in there. See that that works. Yeah, it's all there. You can click on preview or just click on the little play button. Boom, there you go. Dab on the haters. Let's check the rest. Maybe flippin' sexy. I think this is a Fortnite emote. There you go. It works just fine. And there we go. Now we have all our animations we want to use. So we are done with our little copy of our avatar. So we can go back to Inspector and hide her. Click on your original avatar and unhide her. And this is where the custom override comes in. You need to click on that, and this should appear. You can click on the little padlock on the upper right corner. What that does is makes the menu here stay still once you're clicking on stuff. If you don't have that and you click on something else, the window just disappears. Click on the padlock, and what we want to do is just take our animations that we just made and drag and drop them to wherever we want them. So for the idle animation, we want to put that under idle. So just drag and drop it under idle, and there it goes. Dab goes under emotes, so does face palm, flippin' sexy, and twerk. There we go. The ones that you put on emotes appear under your radial menu in VRChat. I'm going to show that later. For the happy and sad, oh, I forgot the sitting animation. We're going to put that. Most people, I think, put the sitting animations on the prone animation or prone slot, which would be Z when you go crawling around. Not the crouch one. You want the crouch to be the default one. So we're going to take our sit animations and put it under prone idle. There we go. Now whenever we do the prone, she should be sitting instead of crawling around. There we go. We're gonna put happy under the hand open gesture, and maybe we'll put sad under finger point. You can put these whenever, wherever, but you need to put them under the hand gestures. For desktop, you can trigger those with Shift and the function keys, F1, F2, F3. We're gonna get to that. For these ones, we put it under hand open and finger point. To see what function key operates what hand gesture, you can look at the official VRChat documentation. I'm gonna link it down in the description. And on VR, it's a little different for whatever headset you're using. But we're gonna focus on desktop here. There we go. We have our animation set in our animation overrider. Okay, click on the padlock again. Click on your model. And you're going to take the animation overrider you just added the animations to and drag and drop it on your animator on the controller, just like we did before with our copy. But drop that over there and drop it on your VRC avatar descriptor custom standing animations as well. You can do custom sitting animations, but those only work for whenever you're sitting on a on a chair or something. I usually just leave those as it is. I think it's too much of a hassle. But there we go. Technically, we're done now. Now you can add whatever dynamic bones you want, do any changes, and then upload your avatar. And I'll see you in VRChat in just a sec. Okay, here we are in VRChat. We are on desktop mode. And as you can see, the idle animation works just fine. And so does the sitting one. So when you go to prone, now you're sitting. Now you can sit on anything. For the expressions, I think I put mine. Yeah, there's the sad one, and there's the happy one. I'll put a little image on screen right now that shows what button toggles whatever hand gesture. For the emotes, you press R. For the radial menu, you should end up here. You go to expressions, and there you go. You have all the ones you added. Now you can dab on all the haters and then facepalm them. Fancy. And there we go. I hope that was helpful. I'll make a different tutorial on 3.0 avatars, and don't forget to follow me on the social medias. On Twitter, that's where I'm most active. I stream on Twitch. I'll leave a link to my Discord. If you need more help, just pop in there and we'll see what we can do. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.